careful, and so I would do reporting on how to save money and how to best spend your money. Things like when you go to the grocery store, where are the best places to shop and how can you best save money. We used to do some pieces on coupons. I bet some of your parents are big on taking coupons when you go to the grocery store, right? Because it's expensive to feed your family. So we would do things like that and talk about different products that were coming out, like when new gadgets come out. Who here, someone in their family has an iPhone? Anybody in there? Right? We would talk about stuff like that, where you should buy things, who has the best deals, what's the best plan for your phone. Do you guys know that 37 million people bought iPhones at the end of last year? The last 3 months of 2011, 37 million people got iPhones. That's a lot of iPhones. Yes?
How many people bought iPads?
That I don't know. I know that the biggest seller was iPhones, but I bet they sold a lot of iPads. I got an iPad for Christmas. Does anyone else in their family, does someone in their family have an iPad? They're great, right?
Oprah Winfrey was giving them out for free.
We gotta get to the Oprah show. It's a shame she doesn't do the Oprah show anymore. She gives us that for free. So, okay, so these are some of the things we used to talk to people about. If you're gonna spend your money, what are the things that are good to spend it on? How to make your money go far. So I started doing that, and then I was working the weekend news, which was a lot of fun. I was doing that on the weekends, and then I moved into the weekday shift. So now we do our weekday news is from Sunday to Thursday instead of Monday to Friday. Sunday's a really big day for us on Fox. We have football. You guys football fans?
Yes.
No? All right, who's rooting for the Patriots in the Super Bowl? Who's rooting for the Giants in the Super Bowl? Who could care less about the Super Bowl? Well, on Fox, we have football on Sundays in the winter, and we have a lot of baseball games in the spring and summertime. So we do our main news and have our main anchors anchor on Sunday night because it's good for us to be there. It's a big night for us. A lot of people are watching football, a lot of people watching baseball, and then hopefully they'll stay and they'll watch the news. So that's why our news runs a little bit differently than some of the other places. So if I wasn't here talking to you guys today, I would normally get into work about, 1:30, 2 o'clock. And we have producers who are there who have been there all day long, who are figuring out what's been going on in Connecticut, what's been going on in the world, what are the big stories that people need to know about, and they set up what's called a rundown. A rundown is basically just the order of everything we're going to do for the news. So when you flip on the news, we're just going to run down all of the stories of the day. That's why we call it a rundown. And we divide our news into a bunch of sections. And you might not realize this when you're watching the news, but once I tell you this, if you watch the news again, you'll kind of see how it works. The first few minutes of the news, we divide it into blocks. So it's A block, B block, C block, D block. First block of the news are all the big stories going on in Connecticut. So if you flip on the news, those will be the first things you see. Unless there's something huge nationally we have to talk about. If there's an election, if there's a war, something major world news that you need to know first. We'll talk about all the stories in Connecticut. And then we'll go take a commercial break, because that's how we pay all of our bills. And then when we come back, the B block is the second block, and that's when we do most of the national stories. Do you guys know any of the national stories that we might be talking about this week? What are some big things that have been in the news this week? Do any of you guys know? On a big, across the country, big nationwide things?
The cruise ship Italian cruise ship that had
Yes, that's a big story. Did you guys hear that? There was an Italian cruise ship. A lot of American people were on that ship. There were people in Connecticut on that ship. They were on a cruise off the coast of Tuscany, and the cruise ship captain hit a rock. And the boat started to tilt over, and the people had to be evacuated from the ship, and it was a really scary thing. So that's been one of our big stories. Anybody know anything that's been going on in our country this week? The president was on TV this week. Do you know why? No?
There was something at school. They said something about obesity. Yeah, obesity. Like Michelle Obama was trying to stop that.
Yes, that's a very big thing this week. Who knows who Michelle Obama is? She's the first lady, right? One of the big things that she's been doing since she got into office, she doesn't want people to grow up in bad shape. She wants you guys to be eating healthy foods. She wants you to be exercising. She wants you to take care of yourself. So does anyone know what's going on in schools now? What she decided to do?
I was going to say that in Disney Channel, she's in a lot of the healthy stuff.
Oh, yeah.
Have you guys seen the Let's Move? Is that what she does? She talks to you about moving, right? So one of the things that they're doing now, it's going to start this July, is when you guys go to school, do you guys eat lunch at school in the cafeteria?
Yeah.
Yes, healthier things. Things like fruits and vegetables and low-fat milk.
In the pizza, they said that they're going to use like whole grain and then instead of...
Oh, don't say, oh, who said I make whole wheat pizza at my house. It is so good. And I'm telling you, if you try, who drinks whole milk here?
What?
Whole milk. Do you guys know who drinks skim milk? Skim milk is just milk where they literally skim the milk out. It doesn't taste any different. It's really good. It does. I get a latte at Starbucks with the skim milk. It's just as good. So think about it. When you go to the cafeteria, just try it. If you don't like it, you don't have to have it, but try it. Try some of the vegetables. She's really into colorful foods on your plate and stuff like that. So that was a big thing this week. But there was something really big on Tuesday night. Did anybody see the president on TV Tuesday night? Did you guys see it? Anybody?
I saw that. I don't know what it was about.
Okay, on Tuesday, the president gave the State of the Union address. Have you guys ever heard of that?
No.
Okay, well it happens every year. In January, the president will go on TV and he'll give the State of the Union, basically talking to Congress. He gets up in front of all of the congressmen and women and the senators, and he talks to them about the state of our union, about how our country is doing. So he got up on Tuesday and he talked to everybody about how the economy is and what he thinks is going on. Talked a little bit about the things he wants to do, because do you know what year this is? And do you know what happens in 2012 in November? What? Yes. It's an election year, so the president has to run for president again, and he's going to run against someone from the Republican Party. So he was talking a little bit about what's going on in our country, but he also was starting to campaign a little bit, because he's got to run for re-election in November. So this is a big year. There are going to be a lot of political things going on. So that's some of the things we talk about in our B block. We'll talk about the elections, we'll talk about the State of the Union, what Michelle Obama is doing, all of those kinds of things. In the C block, usually, that's the next one, that's when we have our big weather. Do you guys ever, your parents stay up late, you guys stay up and watch the weather so you know what it's going to be like if it's going to snow? Do you watch so you know if you don't have to go to school?
Yeah.
Okay, we have two great weather people at night. We have Rachel Frank, she's really, really cool, and we have Jeff Fox, he's totally awesome, and the two of them will talk at night and tell you guys if they think you're going to go to school the next day, what the weather's going to be like, if it's going to rain, if you need your coat, if you need your umbrella. Yes?
Do you only work on Fox News?
Yes, that's what you work for, one station. So that's where I go to work every day, and I work for the same station. So you go to the same